Meeting of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission will now come to order. Mr. Tom Pete, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mike Cully, will you lead us in roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Seat A, Chucky Sheremy.
Here.
Seat B, Tom Pete.
Here.
Seat C, Jimmy Lafourche.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney Gisquare.
Here.
Seat E, Reggie Leday.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Melisson.
Here.
Seat H, Mike Cully here. Seat I, Chris Cully.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Cully. Next, I have approved minutes for November 8, 2023 meeting. I need a motion.
Move.
Moved by Mr. John Melisson, second by Mr. Tom Pete. We got any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have Executive Director's Report. Mr. Chasson.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is our Northern Expansion projects, Northern Expansion Slip D Bulkhead, GIS Engineering.
Okay, as y'all recall on this project, we took bids on this a couple of months ago. They were really high. We've gone back to the drawing board. We've come up with some additional alternatives for the port to consider. We sent that over to Davey on Monday, so in the next week or so, we'll sit down together and try to figure out a path forward.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, John. Moving on to airport projects. Aircraft operations, Davey.
Operations for last month, we had 1,614. We had 13,571 passengers and 18,006 vehicles visit the airport.
All right. Any questions for Davey? All right. The Airport Connector Road and Bridge, PCO and Associates. Joe.
Sea-level construction is a contract. They're continuing to pour concrete on the main towers. They're working on forming up and tying wire on the tower crossing on the 308 side. They did begin laying asphalt this week on the connector road from 3235 to LA1. They'll be doing that for the next month or so. So we do have change order number 7 on the agenda for approval. We had talked about this before. We were reducing the amount of aggregate base that we're using, and we're using asphalt in place of it, and it's actually cheaper to do it that way, and it reduces the amount of aggregate that has to be brought to the job. So it's a deduct of $42,265.02 and no contract time. So we recommend you approve that later in the agenda.
All right. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Joe. The PAPI LED upgrade, GIS Engineering.
On this project, Preferred Electric is the contractor. They finished back in September, but it didn't quite work right, so we had to do some troubleshooting. We found out that on the port side, there was an electrical piece that was not functioning correctly. So on the agenda, you'll have a change order to replace that piece, about $29,000, and then we'll be able to wrap that project up.
Okay. Any questions on that project? All right, the fuel system rehabilitation.
This project too, we had opened bids back in September. They were very high. The one bid we got was very high, so we rejected that. We went back to the drawing board. We should have some final plans to be all reviewed next week.
All right. Any questions? Thank you, John. Moving on to other projects, the flotation canal and front commercial marina dredge, PCO and Associates.
Coastal Dredging Company is the contractor. He was dredging along the mooring dolphins in Flotation Canal. He stopped dredging on November 30th in order to move his dredge to the Leeville project, which is more critical than this project to get done. Bryce has drafted an agreement between the contractor and the commission to put the agreement in writing so that he can move without incurring any extra contract time. So I don't know if Bryce wants to elaborate, but Yeah, we discussed on Monday night, it's laid on the agenda for approval, but basically this would state that his contract time on this project is suspended until either he returns or March 1st of next year, whichever happens sooner. Also states that he has to come straight back to this project after he's done in Leeville, and also do a little bit of extra dredging in a shallow area, the entrance to flotation canal, for basically the same cubic yard rate that he has on the rest of the project. So.
Any questions on that project? Okay, the flotation canal drainage improvements project.
Yeah, TD Construction Group is a contractor. This project's complete. All the punch list is complete. And we do have the clear lien certificate and request for containage later on the agenda for approval.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you. The Leeville LA1 Construction Canal Dredging and Mitigation Project. Angela Design. Neil.
Okay, that contractor, Coastal Dredge Company, as Joe mentioned, left the Lafourche project with his dredge the end of last month, mobilized into Leeville and began actually pumping dredge material last Thursday, December 7th. Work is going really well. They're rebuilding a marsh on the south side of the connector road at this time, and then they're going to be moving on to the couple of sites north of the connector. We think in the next month they'll be out of the way of all DOTD activity, and they should be done with the project in about 2.5 to 3 months. Contract time did officially end on the 6th of December, and they began pumping on the 7th, so they're obviously going to be looking at some liquidated damages at some point at the tune of $1,000 a day. We also have their second pay app on the agenda for your consideration later on the agenda.
Okay. Any questions for Neil? All right, the Fouchon Beach project.
Okay, this project is all permitted and currently advertising to receive bids on January 16th with an estimated cost of $17.8 million.
All right. Any questions?
All right,
Thank you, Neil. All right, the Hurricane Ida repair projects, boat lift, roof, and wharves, GIS engineering.
Okay, this project was, contractor was Tidewater Dock. It was on 3 different locations. The project's complete. Your clear lien certificate's gonna be on your agenda later on.
Okay, any questions? All right, the airport hangar building demolition.
Byron Talbot Construction did the demolition. He is also complete with that project. We are designing the replacement for it. We should have those plans and specs to Davey next week as well.
Okay. Any questions? All right, the inland debris removal project. Davey.
Inland debris removal project is complete. We have a change order later on to approve, and that was for the additional items that were done, and that change order is for $29,754 of additional work. There were actually 35 locations. 8 of the 8 items in those locations eight locations were added, and 23 items actually were picked up in additional. So that's what that extra funding is for. We had that in the original pricing, additional items.
All right. Any questions for Davey on that project? Okay, that concludes my report, Mr. President.
All right. Okay, any public comment? All right, we're going into committee reports.
You wanna,
Mr. Chasson, you want to come? Want to come get it?
Always gotta have the last word. Mr. President, Mr. Director, members, thank you so much. I don't make it down here as often as I should, but I want to say thank you for another great year of partnerships, another great year of solid work that we all do together. We've had a hell of a couple of years with still repairing from Hurricane Ida. You guys just moved back into this building. We're still doing a ton of work next door, trying to get the Galliana complex and other buildings back up and running. But we've been through a lot. Part of that was the tax reform initiative last year, consolidating some road and drainage districts, which I think is going to pay off in the long run for our community, our businesses, and a lot of your tenants as well. And I know there's been a lot of talk about things that won't happen because of that. And I will here to say, and I'm here to say publicly, that nothing will change. We will continue to do the same work in the 10th ward that we have always done. And as a sign of that, one of the partnerships that we've been able to work on with you guys through the help with Chet and the staff here has been that airport connector road that Joe just talked about. It's going to open up the airport corridor for you guys in that huge industrial park. And I know there's a lot of talk about, what was going to happen post-tax reform and where we're going to be to pay our bills. So, Mr. President, I'm happy to be here today with your last $1.4 million check.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to give it to Miranda, not you, because I don't really trust you with it.
Come on,
I'm kidding.
Archie.
I'm kidding. But I did this on purpose, just because I wanted to come say thank you personally for this. Another great project that we can hang our hats on here in Lafourche, and something that's going to go a long way to help our community. So thank you for the partnerships to the state of Louisiana, for their partnership as well, and to the taxpayers of all of Lafourche Parish. Because although it came from Road Sales Tax District 2, as many boudin egg rolls as I eat at Cherami's, I paid for a good portion of this bridge too, even being from Lockport. So we thank you guys for your partnership, and Merry Christmas to you and your families.
Let's take a picture.
Thank you.
Up front.
Thank you.
Santa. Hey, it's my best time of year. I get presents.
You got it, Davey?
Somebody gotta
Take a picture. Oh, John, you take it? John's going to take it. All right.
My hair speaks okay.
Was that?
Good enough.
The top of it's kind of the last check portion of the bridge project. Okay. Thank you, Archie.
Thank you, Mr. Chasson.
Now Amanda get out. Miranda get out.
Thank you, and
Thank you,
we
Mr. Chasson.
we
We
appreciate
appreciate it, everything.
the partnership as well, working together through that project.
Back trip.
It's really important for this community for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. One more public comment. Dan, you got something? You got 3 minutes. Come on up.
That's fine. I appreciate it. Thank you. Daniel Lorraine, 134 East 176, Golden Meadow. I'm glad to see the parish president here today. And the check that he gave you, I just want the public to know that's not parish-wide funds. That was road sales tax 2, which is the the cables above the roads, the power lines. From there south, that's where that money was generated from. There's no parish-wide funding at all. Now that has been changed. That was a 20-year tax, and it was a half a penny. And now we're gonna combine everything together. Hopefully he'll be nice and continue to give us a few things, because we're gonna be in it. At one time, it was a district tax. We had 2 district taxes, A and 2. Now it's gonna be all combined together. So, but I just wanna make it clear, that's the 4th payment that the parish did with the port.
Yes, Mr. Lorraine, we know. We don't need a history lesson. Every time you come up here, you give us a history lesson. As president, we know, okay? We're not here to knock anybody.
Yeah.
We're here, we know. This is our 4th payment. We know the parish help. We're doing everything to work with the parish. So we have our history lesson, we know.
You might know, but the public doesn't know.
Like I said, we know. You want to come and give a history lesson? Don't come do it on the porch time. Go do it at your council meeting. This is, we know. We thank Mr. Chasson. We thank the people of the 10th Ward, because we know. So we don't need a history lesson.
Why you got public comment?
Why we got public comment? For stuff to be useful. We don't knock nobody here.
So it's not
We have
useful to tell the people where the money come from?
We know where the money came from. The people knows where it's come
You
from.
know where it comes from. Public
And I know a
doesn't
lot more, but Mr.
And I think for being the president, you're very rude.
No, Mr. Lorraine, I'm not. If anybody's rude, it's you, because you come up here, you can't work with this port. We work with everybody.
I don't know, the election was 68% for me and 28% that you supported the other guy.
No, you don't know about that. But you know what?
I just told you.
Don't start with me, because I didn't campaign at a man's funeral and not go pay respects to family.
Mr. President?
No.
Yeah, please.
It's
Please.
enough.
Mr. President,
So, Mr. Lorraine, if you could
Merry
wrap
Christmas.
It's
up.
Christmas time, Daniel. Don't ruin this. It's Christmas time. Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any other public comment? All right, moving on. Executive Committee. Members are Chucky Sherman, Chairman, Rodney J. Gisclair Sr., Larry Griffin, and Jimmy Lafone. First, we have on the agenda, consider approving the request from Crawley Wind Service to extend the right of first refusal term.
Okay, as y'all aware, we have a right of first refusal with Crowley Wind Services. That right of first refusal goes for a year. It ends February 1st of 2023. I'm sorry. It ends January 31st of 2024. And what they would like to do, as we're all aware, the wind market hasn't moved as we thought it would. It hadn't progressed. So what we want to be able to do and what they're requesting is to extend that right of first refusal for another year. They have paid 1 year's expected rent, and the request is to move that to see for 1 more year to see how the market progresses. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Mike Colley, seconded by Mr. Chris Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the request from MI to extend lease for site GLF 310.
All right, MI's lease for lease site GLF 310 is up. They would request another 5-year lease term. Recommendation to approve.
All right, got a move by Larry Griffin, second by Reggie Ledet. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the request from Wing Technology to lease property in Fouchon.
All right, Gulf Wind Technologies is requesting a 250-foot by 250-foot block for rent to place, for a lease to place a wind turbine in the port at the Coastal Wetlands Park. It is we've been working with Mr. James Martin with Gulf Wind Technologies for a while now on a bunch of different fronts, and this one is finally coming to fruition. And I would like to invite him to come up and give a real brief presentation, as we saw on Monday night, a more lengthy presentation about what this will do and what his goal is on this project.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Director. Representative of Gulf Wind Technology, Louisiana company, looking to accelerate the wind market here in South Louisiana. We are asking for a approval of a lease so that we can place a technology demonstration turbine in the grounds of Port Fouchon to showcase Louisiana designed blades and technology aimed at de-risking power performance against peak wind events such as hurricanes and generating power in the lower wind speeds of the Gulf of Mexico. We're looking to commence this construction project in 2024. We would like to engage as many stakeholders of South Louisiana as possible, both in the assessment, design, manufacturing, and servicing of this turbine.
All right.
So with that, recommendation to approve this lease.
Need a motion. Moved by Mr. Tom Pete, seconded by Mr. Jim Lafont. Any discussion?
Yes. Mr. Martin, we really are excited to have you on board. It's an example of how our community leads in introducing innovative and new ideas, and not only to realize that it'll be installed in the next few years, but it's not only going to be erect, it's going to be part of the energy grid. It's going to be part of the process. And we thank you for considering Fouchon to be one of your places to establish your new company.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, we hope to be the flagship wind turbine technology company across the whole of the USA, and it's going to be demonstrated here first in Port Fouchon. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion in a second.
Yep.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right, next we have consider approving the meeting participation in disabled individuals policy.
All right, so as y'all are aware, during the last legislative session, the legislature passed and was signed by the governor a bill, a law that says we have to provide for meeting participation by disabled individuals, and that's what this policy says. And it basically says if you meet the certain demands of the American with Disabilities Act, if someone who is disabled can't attend the meeting, then they would have to contact us, and within 3 days or 3 days prior to any given public meeting, and request to have that service so that they could participate by phone. All right. It also says further on this policy, as based on the law, that there can be this participation by any member of this board who may be disabled and can't attend a meeting, that you could attend by phone, and that could be deemed as part of your official duties and as part of a quorum for voting.
And would that include temporary disability?
That's a good question. I believe anything that would be deemed something that's part of the American with Disabilities Act requirements.
Understand. Thank you.
All right.
And would just be by phone, or could you do it internet, Zoom, or is there other options? Just a question.
Well, the policy provides for by telephone. That's what the requirement was under the
Okay.
statute. Whether we want to, broaden that in the future, we can look into it. But as far as compliance with the statute, they just require by teleconference. So
Okay,
that's
just
what the policy.
just the phone. That's fine. I just wanted
Well,
to know.
what, I can explain, because I was in the hearing when they were having the discussion at the legislature. It was basically saying, not everybody maybe has a computer at this point, but they have a phone.
Right.
So you have to give them that ability. If there's technology and we can advance that, I'm sure that would be deemed as following the policy in the state law.
Right.
It's just they don't want to mandate that it was by Zoom or something along those lines.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Larry Griffin, second by Mr. Roger Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion pass. Next, we have considering approving the bids for a surplus sale.
All right, we had 39 items that went up for surplus sale. All of those items were bid on. We recommend approving 38 of the 39 items. If you look at the sheet, item number 1, we would recommend not approving that sale of that vehicle, because in the meantime, when we advertised it, we hadn't had, it was wrecked. There's an insurance settlement, and the insurance settlement is worth more than what we would get off of this. So again, recommendation is to approve all but item number 1, the 2014 Ford Explorer.
Move.
All right, moved by Mr. John Mellison, second by Reggie Legear. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. All right. Consider approving the agreement with CPRA for the Lafourche Beach project.
All right, this is really an updated agreement, a renewed agreement, because the date of the old agreement were outdated. So we need a new agreement. And this is our agreement between CPRA and the Port Commission for the Lafourche Beach project, where they are contributing $2 million to that project.
Move.
All right, moved by Mike Colley, second by Jim Lafont. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we're getting out executive committee, going into permits and waterways. Members are Rodney Gisclair, chairman, Reggie Legear, Tom Peter, Chucky Sherman. Mr. Gisclair.
Thank you, Mr. President. All we have on the permits and waterways is consider approving the bids for the removal of vessels.
All right, we had 2 vessels that have gone through the process, and we put out to bid. We received 4 bids. Plaisance Dragline and Dredging Company Incorporated is the low bidder for $7,500 for each vessel, for a total of $15,000. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Rodney Gisclair, second by Tom P. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the Permits and Waterways Committee.
All right, Mr. Gisclair, thank you. We're going into construction and development. Members are Chris Colley, chairman, Mike Colley, Jim Lafont, Chucky Sherman. Mr. Colley, you're up.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. President. First item we have is consider approving change order number 7 from Sea Level Construction for the Airport Connector Road and Bridge.
All right, we discussed this change order for a decrease of $42,365.02. Recommendation to approve.
Move.
All right. Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mike Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, we have consider approving change order number 1 from Preferred Electric for the upgrades to the Pappy LED project.
All right, we had a bad regulator on our side. Recommendation to approve a change order of $29,681.80.
All right, need a motion.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Larry Griffin. Any discussion?
Just add to that and 155 days.
Okay. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Item 3, consider approving the agreement with Coastal Dredging Company for the Flotation Canal and Front Commercial Marina Dredge project.
All right, so basically what this is as we discussed earlier, is a change, the agreement that says we're suspending the 116 calendar days effective November. The project is being suspended after 116 calendar days effective November 30th, 2023. And then it'll start back up the earlier of them starting the dredging again, or March 1st, 2024, as well as the contractor agrees to perform an additional dredging amount of 58,177 cubic yards at their bid price of $4.25 per cubic yard.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Chris Colley, second by Reggie Leggett. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, we consider accepting the clear lien certificate from TD Construction Group for the Flotation Canal Road Drainage Project.
All is in order. Recommendation to approve.
All right, got a motion. Motion by Chris Colley, second by Jimmy Lafourche. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Item 5, consider accepting the clear lien certificate from Tidewater Dock for the Ida Boat Lift Roof and Wharf Project.
All is in order here. Recommendation to approve.
A motion by Chris Colley, second by John Mellison. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Item 6, consider approving change order number 1 from Lowland Construction Company for the Inland Debris Removal Project.
As we discussed earlier, this is an increase for extra work for $29,754. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Chris Colley, second by Mr. Roger Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this concludes the Construction Development Committee report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Colley. Next, we're going to the Finance Committee. Members are John Mellison, Jr., Chairman, Larry Griffin, Chris Colley, and Chuck Sherman. Mr. Mellison, your turn.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President. We'll begin by consider approving payment of the November 2023 invoices and recognizing those over $25,000. So, Mr. Griffin, this is a long list. Stay up with us, okay?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start off with the LADOTD Elevated 1, Louisiana Elevated Highway Phase 2, $5 million. And I'll turn this over to Chet right now.
Real briefly, this is the third payment of 5 that we committed to. So we have 2 more after this, and we're happy to see that the project is moving forward and continue to be an aggressive timeline, and we should hopefully be done with that project, or DOTD should be done with that project by July of 2027.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed for that, and we'll continue on with item 2, Coastal Dredging Company Incorporated, $835,232.16. That's for LA1 Phase 2 construction, canal dredging, and marsh creation, along with dredging of the flotation canal and front commercial marina. Item 3, Sea Level Construction Incorporated, $479,334.65. That is for the Airport Connector Road and Bridge. Item 4, Lowland Construction Company, $427,378.60. That's for Hurricane Ida Inland Debris Removal Project. Item 5, Ducks Unlimited Incorporated, $250,000 even. That's for Port Fourchon Marsh Terraces, and I'll let Mr. Chasson elaborate on that also.
Yeah, so that $250,000 is going to Ducks Unlimited for a project that has multiple partners. The Lafourche Parish government is one of those partners, as well as Chevron and ConocoPhillips and CPRA for a multi-million-dollar terrace project in the Fourchon and LA1 kind of area vicinity. And it's a really good project, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Thank you, sir. Item 6, Travelers Insurance, $167,999 even. That is for the auto insurance renewal. Item 7, Tidewater Dock Incorporated, $152,284.31. That's for Hurricane Ida damage restoration at Fourchon sites. Item 8, GIS Engineering, $133,068 even. That's for Slip D Bulkhead, Bell Pass Deepening, Port Fourchon Marsh creation. Item 9, Angelette Design, LLC, $110,718.23. That's for the Bayou Lafourche and Flotation Canal Bulkhead, along with the Flotation Canal Bank Line Protection. Item 10, BET Construction Incorporated, $70,992 even, and that's for the airport hangar building demolition. Item 11, CSRS Disaster Recovery Management LLC, $44,691.25. That's for Disaster Grant Management Consultant for Hurricane Ida. Item 12, American Integration Contractors LLC, $38,453.48. That's for security camera and repairs along with maintenance. Item 13, Ascent Aviation Group, $29,803.06. That is for fuel for resale and the fuel truck rental. Item 14, Bank of America, $29,260.99. That's for monthly credit card charges. Item 15, Grand Isle Shipyard, $25,104.12. And that's for contract labor at the airport. These expenditures, along with our others, brings us to a total of $8,990,633.21. And I'd like to make a motion we accept these if Mr. Griffin agrees.
You got it.
I got it. Got a
Motion
second
by-
for Mr. Griffin, Mr. President.
I got a motion by Mr. John Millison, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
That was a kind of long one, Mr. Griffin, huh?
Good.
All right,
You
well,
didn't mess up.
You did good.
we'll continue on, but as discussed on Monday night, consider approving the November 2023 unaudited financial statements. And Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we accept these.
I got a motion by Mr. John Millison, a second by Mike Collier. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Next on the agenda, we have consider approving out-of-state travel and training requests. We have Director Chasson attending the American Association of Port Authorities Legislative Summit in Washington, D.C., March 18th through the 22nd. That's the only one we have. I'd like to make a motion we accept this.
I got a motion by Mr. Millison, got a second by Mr. Chris Collier. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
All right, Mr. President, well, we always wait for the grand finale. Consider approving the 2024 budget, and we'll bring up Ms. Parker to do a brief presentation before we vote on that.
Come on, Ms. Parker.
Ms. Parker, if you can lean that microphone down a little so we can all hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll begin on page 1. This is our consolidated income statement, 2024 budget. At your top line item, you have our revenue for the year. This is going to be our lease revenue, dolphin rentals, airport revenue, fuel and hangar sales. That's going to be around $32 million, a $970,000 increase from projected 2003. And that's due to the 5% escalation that we have in our leases. From there, you would deduct our direct costs. This is our landowner expense and also depreciation expense. This is expected to increase by about $481,000, and that's due to depreciation. Then you'll get your gross profit, which is expected to increase around 489,000 to give us a total of $19,926,748. From there, you would deduct our day-to-day operation expenses. That's expected to be around 23 million, and that's going to be a $6.4 million increase. That gives us our operating loss for the year of $3,282,328. From there, we would add in our non-operating revenues and expenses. That's going to be around 12.7 million to give us a total net income for the year of $9,385,725. And if you turn to the next page, we'll go over that non-operating revenue and expenses. On page 2. Our first line item is our ad valorem revenue. We expect about 2.8 million. And below there, you'll see our grants, capital, operating, and maintenance, and also emergency repair projects. We'll go over that detail whenever we go over the major projects. Below that is our interest earned for the year, around 4 million, and our emergency repair projects. This is our emergency repairs plus our emergency disaster contingency of 5%. We do 5% of our operating and capital budget every year. Below there is our extraordinary items and special items. Special items are within management's control, infrequent and unusual in nature. Some of those line items are our LA1 Phase 2 contribution of $5 million. This will be our 4th payment out of 5. West Fourchon marsh creation and nourishment of $5 million, and also the LA1 mitigation dredge in Leeville for $3.5 million. And on the next page, we'll begin going over some of the significant projects. That emergency repair account that I just mentioned, these are the projects and the revenue that are included in that account. The Fourchon Beach restoration and breakwaters, we expect Lafourche Parish Government about $2 million, CPRA $2 million, Shell $2 million, and FEMA around $7 million, and GLPC's share would be around $4 million to give us a total project of $17 million. Below that is for Flotation Canal Channel Dredge Site 42. That's expected to be around 1.4 million, and we expect about 250,000 from FEMA on that project. 1.2 will be GLPC funded. On page 4.
Wait. Swap that.
I'm sorry.
1.2 in FEMA funds and 250,000 in GLPC funds. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay, page 4. This is going to be our Seaport Profit Center capitalized projects. Slip D bulkhead, 1,600 linear feet, is going to be around 14.8 million. Port priority funding is around 12.9 million, and GLPC around 1.8. Below that is Bayou Lafourche bulkhead design, site 510. That's going to be around 1.5 million, all GLPC funded.
And that's the corner of Bayou Lafourche and Flotation Canal, that property we purchased from Coyotes.
Okay, next page, page 5. This is our Seaport Public Works expense projects. The first project is our Flotation Canal and Front Marina maintenance dredge for about 1.8 million. And also the Fourchon Island feed study for about 2.5 million. Whenever we discussed that increase in our operating expenses of 6.4 earlier, this is where the majority of that comes from. The total here is going to be around 5 million in expense projects. So that makes up that number. On page 6, we have our Seaport Public Works capitalized projects. Significant projects here are Coastal Wetlands Park, around 1 million, and we expect Louisiana Water and Conservation Fund about 350,000 and 670,000 Port Commission funded. On the bottom, you'll see Flotation Canal Shoreline Protection North Bank, around 5.3 million. 4.4 is FEMA funded, and 850,000 is Port Commission funded. Below that is Flotation Canal Road and Access Paving for about 3.7 million. Seaport Public Works total projects about 11.5 million.
And that Flotation Canal Road and Access Paving project, we actually are working with Sound Central Planning on an EDA grant. So we may get some federal funding on that project.
Okay, page 7. This is going to be our Harbor Police capitalized projects. We have one project here. This is the Elwyn site project. There's multiple agencies participating in this project. We'll have Department of Homeland Security around $73,626. Lafourche Parish around $6,000, and then you have the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, Lafourche Parish Fire Department, and Lafourche Ambulance District, each contributing about $2,050. GLPC's share of this project is $64,224. And on page 8, we have Airport Profit Center capitalized projects. We have the airport hangar replacement around $1.5 million, all GLPC funded. However, we may receive some FEMA funding that is not currently in the budget because it has not been obligated. We typically do not put it in the budget until it is obligated. Page 9 is going to be our airport public works expense projects. First is our master plan update. That's going to be around $475,000, and this is going to be funded by FAA, $427,500, and DOTD, $47,500. Below that is the industrial park LED site certification. That's going to be LED funded $75,000 and Port Commission funded $30,000 for a total of $105,000. On page 10, we have our airport public works capitalized projects. Significant projects here are terminal design and construction project, $5 million. This is going to be FAA funded $590,000 and DOTD funded $170,000.
We're hoping for some other state funding through capital outlay, but we're not assured that yet. So we'll see.
And about $4.2 million in Port Commission funds for that project. Below there is Airport Connector Road and Bridge. That's going to be, we anticipate spending this year about $13.7 million on this project. We'll get about 1.8 from Federal Highway Administration and capital outlay about 3.7. Greater Lafourche Port Commission share of that is 8.2 million. And we can go to page 11. This is our consolidated statement of cash flows. We anticipate ending 2023 with around $91,941,237, and you'll see that number carries over to beginning cash in 2024. From there, we would add in our net income of $9,385,725 and add in our depreciation expense of $9,255,649. And from there, we would deduct our total capital assets and our total capital projects. Also, we would deduct our decrease in deferred revenue, add in our increase in other payables, and deduct our increase in other receivables to give us a total ending cash of $56,490,038. From there, you'll see we have the deduction of our Fouchon Island development expenses that are anticipated, which is $49,200,000. Usually this number in the past has been around $50 million. You'll see that we deducted about $800,000 because we anticipate spending that in 2024. So if you go to the bottom of the page, I'll give you budget totals. Operating budget is anticipated to be around $35,469,201. Our capital budget, $49,833,044. Our non-operating budget, $36,315,112, to give us a total budget of $121,617,357.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Miranda. You and your gang did a great job on this.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good
Did a
job.
great job in developing
Good job.
and presenting the budget for the fourth time. Okay, I want to let people know.
So
So,
I'm disappointed I am really disappointed we ain't got no bulkhead at the That's the only thing, man.
maybe next year, Mr. President. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Parker?
Any
All
questions?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion. We accept the 2024 budget.
I got a motion by Mr. John Nelson, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this concludes the Finance Committee report.
All right. You got any other business?
I just wanted to say thank you to Fred Trowbridge from Congressman Scalise's office for attending the meeting today. And thank you to Mr. Doug Sheremy with Attorney General's office for attending the meeting as well. And thank everybody for attending the meeting today.
All right, Mr. Bro.
Yes, I just wanted to mention that CCA Louisiana was in Port Fourchon yesterday. You might have seen that on the news. They actually did a Pelican Island Reef project in Timberlair Bay.
Right.
So Chevron was a participant in that as well as others. So, and Dan Os's Cajun coral was actually used to build it. So, something for our recreational area in the Timberlair Bay area, reef, a new reef.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brewer. Any other business? Any public comment? I'm gonna ask right now for the commissioners. I know it's Christmas time, and we usually do this every year is for each commissioner to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And we see what you have to say. Anything? Mr. Pete, will you start it off?
I'd like to say Merry Christmas to everybody's family and hope y'all have a Happy New Year.
Mr. Lafont?
Merry Christmas to everyone, and thanks God that Andrew won.
All right, Mr. Gisclair.
Merry Christmas to everyone and everyone's family. Hopefully it's a very joyous one, and looking forward to a very prosperous new year for everyone. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to everyone, their families. Let's please be safe and conscious on the roads during holiday season, and please remember that sometimes the holiday season isn't joyful for everyone, as everyone's goes through different things in life. But so take that into consideration when somebody's feeling down. You may want to, lend a helpful word. So anyway, thank you and God bless.
Mr. Griffin.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to everybody. And if anyone knows any elderly people sick in the shut-ins, to go pay them a visit and just tell them hi, make them feel welcome for this joyous season. Thank you.
I'd like to elaborate with that along for our past commissioner, Donald Vizier, who's been struggling a little bit. Wish him in our thoughts and prayers for him to get better. And I'd also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Mike?
Well, Merry Christmas to everybody. And this year had its challenges. We're looking forward to a better 2024. And I wish the same for everybody.
I'd like to wish a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone out there. And for those of you who are fortunate in life and can realize that there's a lot less fortunate people in this community, there are people out here who are collecting toys and stuff for young children who are not able to celebrate Christmas like most of us in this room celebrate with our children and grandchildren if we have some. So if you come across one of these businesses or people out there that are collecting toys and donations for less fortunate children, please consider donating something to these kids. They'll be greatly appreciative of whatever they receive on Christmas Day. Thank you.
And Mr. Colley, and for the rest of the board, for y'all to know, in that same vein, our harbor policemen, they don't get a lot of recognition for the things that they do on a regular basis. They represent the port just as you do, and we all try to, but they are out front representing the port in a number of different events throughout the year. This year, once again, they did a no shave for the last couple of months of the last 4 months of the year, and to do that, they collected money. So everybody that wanted to grow a beard that works in Harbor Police raised money. I think they have nearly $2,000. About $2,000. They have identified some needy families, and they're gonna get toys and gifts for those families. And we're really proud of what they do. They're very selfless people, and all of our employees are. And they're out front most days, and they're the first people with the Port Commission that people see. So we really appreciate the work that they're doing for our community on a daily basis, and in particular during this Christmas season.
All right, thank you. Before I say Merry Christmas, Mr. Kilner, are y'all gonna do the New Year's? Yes, sir. Will you please come and tell everyone?
In
in the spirit of keeping everybody safe throughout the holidays, we know there's a lot of parties, a lot of drinking, a lot of people having a good time. We don't want anybody to get hurt, especially in the 10th ward, but we do go a little bit outside the 10th ward if we have to. We try to keep everything kind of here, but we will provide free rides for anybody who feel they're too intoxicated to drive. We'll get them home, no questions asked. We're not looking to make arrests. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure everybody gets home safely so nobody suffers during the holidays.
And
So
what
we'll
was
do
the
that again.
time frame we're gonna do that?
We're gonna do it from this Monday to January 2nd is what we normally do. In case somebody has a late party on New Year. coming up. Yeah.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I want to tell everyone, enjoy and hug your families because I lost a loved one this year. Merry Christmas is coming around. So it's very special this year for Christmas because I'll be with my mother and my family since we lost my father. So everyone, just remember, Christmas is not about presents, but it's also about family and everyone to be with your family because that's the most important thing because as you can see, as you get older, it seems like families are getting less and less. So everyone just remember that and remember people out there who need help them out because they have a lot of people in this community that's hurting and help them out. It might not be much, groceries, something, whatever. We have enough organizations out there giving that can give to the needy. So remember that. And for everyone, on behalf of the commission, on behalf of my family, the employees, everyone, have a Merry Christmas, enjoy it. And don't forget New Year's. Have a good New Year's. Take up our harbor patrolmen. No one do any drinking and driving. Make the call. It's a lot easier. We've been doing the program for 4 or 5 years, and it's been a success. So everyone take up on it. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Port Commission meeting is adjourned. Wait, Mr. Griffin.
Also, while y'all celebrating, always remember that Jesus is the reason for the season.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Motion, though, Mr. President.
Good motion.
Mr.
What do you have,
LaFont?
Mr. Fong?
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All right, got a motion by Mr. Jim LaFont, second by Mr. Tom P. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Everyone have a happy New Year, a Merry Christmas, and remember, Christ is in Christmas. So no happy holidays. Meeting adjourned.